crazy.
YouTube, let's get it. Back with another vid, YouTube. It's your boy Big Gap, and today we're outside in front of the house. First run with the Traxxas Maxx. As you can see, I already added my light kit onto it. I don't know if y'all can see that good, but I already added my light kit onto it. Gonna get out here, get a quick couple of rips up and down the street. Then we're going to get to the backyard, get a few jumps in with it, and then I'm gonna give you my final thoughts of this truck, and we're gonna get out of here. Hold tight. All righty, let's go. We're running our 9,000 milliamp 80C Z battery. Got my TSM up way too high. This thing is going crazy. Take that down a little bit. Way too high. There we go. That's better. That's better. As I can see with this truck, man, it's not a crazy wheelie monster like the V1. It's the V2, by the way. It's not a crazy wheelie monster like the V1. It'll wheelie, but you gotta get on. But I like the fact that once you up to speed, it doesn't wheelie, it just doesn't come off the ground on you. That makes it much easier to get to your top speed. I've seen a lot of speed runs on it and it's not as fast because of the gearing change, but with the gearing change, when you come out of the turn, you can get on the throttle hard and don't have to worry about just wheeling all over the place. See what I'm saying? Like that. Look at that. Just turn, come out of turn. It's very stable. It's not threatening to roll over as much. I guess that 1 inch, that longer chassis does make a big difference. See, but I'm loving the fact that I can get on the throttle like that real hard and it don't just stand up and just wheelie the whole time. That's gonna make this a pretty good neighborhood racer. That's gonna make this a pretty good neighborhood racer, ladies and gentlemen. It really is. So far, I'm liking it. Let's take it to the backyard, get a few jumps, and go sit down and give you my final thoughts on this thing. But so far, I'm loving it. I'm loving it, and I like I said, I can tell that chassis is making a difference. That elongated chassis, even though it's the same width, wide, that elongated chassis is giving it a little bit of a different driving characteristic. Oh yeah, I'm loving the way this thing is turning. It's turning great. That stock servo is doing its job. Look at that. It's turning great. Look at that. Yes, sir. Look how she just takes into the turn. You come out of the turn, get on the throttle. No wheeling. Yes, sir. I'm loving that. And see, me personally, I just like different trucks for different things. I don't like all my trucks to drive the exact same. Even though, you know, it's a couple of brands that make trucks that do drive the same as some of the others, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, certain trucks, like I look at my Outcast as a basher, you know what I'm saying? Even though they do pretty good when it comes to racing, it's a monster truck. It's a monster truck basher. I have my little Max. It's my monster truck basher, my big X Max. So, you know, it was time for me to have a X Max that's raceable. And with the way this is turning and whipping around and staying straight, I think this would, look at that, great racer. And how hard I can get on the throttle without it going crazy on me. That's awesome. Let's hit some jumps. Flip, first backflip with the Max, let's get it. I am running an adapter. I'm running it's crazy setup I got in there. I got Traxxas to XT90s, then I got my XT90s plugged into an EC5. So it's real flimsy. So it may come out on some of these jumps, but I don't want y'all to think that that's the truck doing that. That's actually my setup. See, I just called it. It just did it. It's not the truck doing that. I don't want y'all to think that. It's not the truck, it's my actual connectors. So I won't be doing too many more jumps with it until I get my connectors changed over. See, I knew it. See that? This is Traxxas going into Traxxas, coming out at XT90. Then I'm plugging an EC5 into it. Look at that. It's super easy to come in and out. Look at that. But I haven't had a chance to change those connectors out just yet. But let's see how this servo is actually turning in the grass. Look at that. It's doing way better than the last truck I just drove, even on the grass. I'm loving the way this thing turns around, man. That's awesome. That's awesome, man. That is awesome. I can't wait to get it to the loose dirt where I can really see how it performs. But I know with the AVC, I mean with the TSM, it's gonna help it in that loose dirt. TSM is gonna help it stay straight. So I know I'm gonna miss my TSM when I change the remote, because you know I'm gonna change the remote, because I can't have all these cars and 1,000 cars and 1,000 remotes. That's a headache. Just leaving the house with certain cars and not knowing whether you have the right controller or not is a headache. So I know I'm gonna miss that that TSM, but I probably put it on AVC. I probably put a spectrum receiver in there and put it on AVC. That way I still can have that functionality, because it helps for the monster trucks, especially when it comes to racing on the loose dirt. If you're just bashing, you don't need it. But if you want to race and you want to win some races, be competitive, the TSM really helps in the loose dirt. Thick grass, I can race all day long just like this. But when you get to that real loose dirt where the wheels do a lot of spinning, that TSM does help. And I'm loving how I can just turn and get on that throttle. I can come out of a turn on the throttle. Look at that. She lifts up, but she don't lift up bad. Perfect. I'm liking it, man. I'm liking it, man. If you got the V1 with the wide kit, it's a good truck, but the V2 handles better. Sorry, hands down. I just was driving my V1 back here not too long ago, and it handled nothing like this. Finally rode it. That was driver error. Did too much with it. Oh. Ah, that sucked by me. I should have completed it. I hit the brakes too early. Hit the brakes way too early. This is a horrible setup. I definitely gotta hurry up and get this thing changed over to EC5s immediately. I wish I had some in the house. I would go back in the house and do it right now, but I don't have any, and I'm not about to go to the hobby store today, so just gonna have to deal with it. Now it'll wheelie if you slow down. If you jam it hard like that off the rip, it will wheelie. But if you already on the throttle, then you hit it hard, it won't wheelie. And that's what I'm loving about it. I'm loving that about it. This thing is running good, man. I don't want to say too much, because I'm gonna go in and give my final thoughts and what I feel about it, and you know, my recommendations, things that it need, things that I think can be better, things that I think is perfect. But so far, really don't have much of a gripe. Sludge hammers performing awesome. All right, we're gonna go back around the front, take it up and down the street a couple times, try to get some of this grass off, and we're gonna go in the house and sit down and talk about it. All right, try to see if we can get a, see how stable the Willie is. Is it like an Outcast? Because an Outcast is the, I don't care what nobody say, the king of Willies is an Outcast. Outcast ride a Willie all the way up the street. See, it's a little bit more difficult with this one because, there we go. Because of, it doesn't have that crazy punch like the first one. See, look at that. It don't have that crazy punch like the first one. But that's what I like about it. Need to turn my TSM down a little bit more. There we go. Now she's going straight real good. Those tires are panicking though. I will say, yeah, under full throttle, they panicking. They asking for help. They asking for help. So I may be swapping to my Badlands, my Proline Badlands, but we're gonna get in the house, finish this video. Hold tight. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. We're in the lab talking about the Maxx. The Maxx is awesome. The V2 wide Maxx is awesome. That little extra inch or inch and a half, whatever they did to the chassis, it makes a difference. The gearing change as well, it makes a big difference. I will say right off the rip, it's not bananas. This truck is not bananas like the V1. The V1 is just a Willie, out of control, insane monster. This is a little, they dialed it down a little bit with the changing of the gears, and to me, it's just a more fun truck to drive. It's a much better driving experience, I would say. This one from the V1, even though if you put the wide kit on the V1, it does help it out some, but it's still not as stable as this truck. The pros are through the roof, man. I backflipped it. I didn't have any problems with anything breaking. I didn't send it to the moon. I just did some nice little, light bashing in the backyard. And this thing, man, is an awesome truck, man. I can't. Ooh, it's hard to really find something wrong with this vehicle, man. It's a really good truck, man. It's, you know what I'm saying, hands down. It's hands down to me now the second best Traxxas that you can buy. The only thing better than this right now to me is the X-Maxx. And that's just because of the sheer size and the fact that they just put out a wide kit that's gonna make that more stable as well. But the only other car, Traxxas, that I would buy over this car would be the regular X-Maxx. If they did this first, if this would have came out as the V1 would have been just like this, it would have been perfect. People wouldn't have done nothing to it. The one con that I do have about this truck is I don't like these tires on road. They balloon and they make the truck not as stable as it could be. It could be, it's a very stable truck, but it could be super stable with tires that didn't balloon quite as much as these. These don't balloon really bad, just only in the front, and they don't balloon real bad. It's just when the tires go to balloon it, it makes the truck feel like it's swaying. So you're less comfortable at top speeds when you're in smaller areas. If you're in a big old parking lot where you can just hold the trigger, it's fine. But when you're in smaller areas with curbs and cars, when you get up to those high speeds, it kind of make it kind of sketchy for you. You be like, oh, am I gonna sway off? Am I gonna sway off? So the only change that I'm going to do to this truck will be put the Badland trucking tires on here. I'm definitely gonna change those. They're a little bit wider, they're a little bit taller. So it's gonna, you know what I'm saying, give you a little bit more speed as well. But they don't balloon as much as these do. Like I run those on my V1 Maxx and they do awesome. So I am gonna buy me another set of those. Until those come in, I will be running these because I'm gonna drive this truck a lot. This is gonna be, you're gonna see this a lot on my channel in upcoming days because I'm gonna drive this thing a lot because it handles great, man. The one thing I do like about the driving characteristics of this truck is when you come out of a turn and you already on the throttle and you smash on the throttle, it just don't wheelie. It comes up a little bit in the front, but it don't just and just flip over backwards. So that would make it a pretty good neighborhood racer. You know what I mean? So it's not really much to say about this truck, man. This truck is awesome, man. I thought that the price was gonna go skyrocket high. I think the original Max is a little high. I think this one the price is a little high for it. But the price didn't, when they did the new version, the price only went up with like $30 or $40. And to me, it's well worth it. I would say even if you have a V1 Max, even if you do have a V1 Max, I would say get the V2, or if you want to sell your old one, use that money to get you a V2, man. You will really be able to tell the difference in the way the V2 run versus the V1, even with the wide kit. This still runs hands down better. Like I said, I think it's a lot due to that gearing change. It's a lot more manageable. It's a lot more controllable. It's just not every time you hit the throttle. Like the one I have now, every time you hit the throttle, it's like this. Every single time. You can be half throttle and then jam it hard, it's going to be like this. This one, you can be a quarter of a throttle and then jam it hard. It's not going to stand up. It's going to raise up a little bit in the front and it's going to ride out. And to me, that's perfect. I don't want all my trucks to be the exact same. You always want to have something slightly different about this one and slightly different about that one. That's the beauty of having multiple rigs. You don't want to have 20 cars, all 20 of them is the exact same way. It's pointless to me anyway. I'm not telling you what to do, but to me that's pointless. You want to have cars that have slightly different driving characteristics, even though they're meant for the same thing. So that's just how I feel about it. But this is an awesome truck, man. I'm gonna let y'all go. I don't want to make this video too long. I appreciate y'all sticking around watching the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, dislike, whatever you like. YouTube. And man,